Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is sitting on the edge of a major breakout, while Ethereum is rejecting from short-term resistance, and Solana is playing out a breakout of its own, which I'll talk about later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the weekly Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still running into this major area of resistance sitting in between around 36k to 38k. And so obviously 38,000 is the level to break here on the weekly time frame, and we still need to see candle closes above 38k in order to actually confirm that breakout. And if we do end up seeing that happening, then the next significant level of resistance here on the weekly time frame is sitting at approximately 42,000, and above that level we have some more resistance at around 48 to 49,000. And obviously, as for the larger trend at play here on the weekly time frame, we are still obviously within a much larger bullish trend. Even if we see a short-term pullback, technically that can occur within the larger bullish trends that we've seen all year long. And now if you're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, of course, as I mentioned around 1 to 2 weeks ago here on the channel, we did have a bearish divergence which resulted in a lot of choppy sideways price action over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so, as expected, because once again a bearish divergence means we're due to see reduced bullish momentum. So basically the bullish momentum for this short-term bullish trend is slowing down. But once again, as I've been saying almost every day over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so, I would not necessarily expect a significant pullback in the price of Bitcoin, at least while the DXY or US dollar index is crashing, because this chart right here is still on the daily Bitcoin chart. The candlesticks is the Bitcoin price on the daily time frame, and this red line is the DXY or US dollar index. And basically all you need to know is usually when the DXY is bullish, that is usually bearish for Bitcoin, and vice versa. If the DXY is dumping, that is usually very bullish for Bitcoin. And now obviously this is not 100% perfect. Sometimes these two can move in the same direction, but that is only a very small amount of time. Obviously, the vast majority of the time, this is very accurate. And so once again, while the DXY has been dumping, as I've said recently on the channel, this is a signal we need to pay attention to, which is basically telling us we should not really be expecting any significant downside in the price of Bitcoin, at least anytime soon, while the DXY is still dumping. And now, obviously, we can still see day-to-day volatility in the price of Bitcoin. So, for example, 3% moves to the downside or 5% moves to the downside. Of course, that is in the realm of possibility, even while the DXY is dumping. But when it comes to a 15, 20% pullback, 30% pullback in the price of Bitcoin, once again, I would not be expecting that at all while the DXY is still dumping as it is right now. And so once again, due to that, and also due to that bearish divergence that I talked about a couple of weeks ago now, basically those two signals combined resulted in a lot of choppy sideways price action over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so. But what we are now seeing is a potential new higher high in the price of Bitcoin in the daily candle closes. And now, technically speaking, we have not yet actually confirmed a new higher high in the daily candle closes in the price, at least not yet. But obviously, we're sitting very close to a potential new higher high in the daily candle closes. And so if that confirms, that actually invalidates this previous bearish divergence, meaning we're about to see some more bullish momentum begin. But keep in mind, even in that scenario, it's possible we could potentially form a new bearish divergence later on, because at least for now, even if we make a new higher high in the price, of course, we're still sitting in higher highs in the price, while the RSI, as of right now, is still sitting in lower highs. And so once again, if we break out into a new higher high, then we could see another leg to the upside, a little bit more bullish momentum kick off again. But perhaps in another couple of weeks from now, we could end up forming a new bearish divergence, which is something that we need to be aware of. And now, if you're zooming into the shorter term, into the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously right now we are still technically within a short-term bullish trend in this ascending parallel channel, forming higher lows and higher highs. And right now, this ascending line of support is sitting at approximately $36,000 per Bitcoin, and this ascending line of resistance is sitting at approximately 38.7k. And once again, just recently, we've seen a breakout here in the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI above this descending line of resistance, and also forming a new higher high alongside the price, also forming a higher high. And so once again, as I mentioned mentioned recently on the channel, this breakout here in the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI is a bullish signal because it means the RSI and the price action are no longer diverging. And now, if you're zooming into a smaller time frame, looking at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is still running into this important area of resistance, sitting in between around 37.6k to around 38k. And obviously, as I mentioned in my last video here on the channel, we saw an attempted breakout above 38k, but we never actually saw any significant candle closes above 38k. And so, like I said in my last video, in order to actually confirm a breakout, we ideally need to see candle closes actually confirm above $38,000. And so, at least for now, we have not yet actually confirmed the breakout above this resistance and for this ascending triangle pattern. But obviously, right now, we are sitting very close to a potential breakout. And if we do end up confirming a breakout above $38,000, which would confirm this ascending triangle pattern in play, then in that case, that would set up a bullish price target for the price of Bitcoin at approximately $41,000. And so from the point of the breakout to that technical price target, we're talking around an 8% move to the upside, which could be coming next in the price of Bitcoin if we simply confirm a breakout above this resistance. And obviously that potential breakout could happen at any moment now because the price of Bitcoin is sitting on the edge of this resistance. But at least for now, once again, while the price has not yet actually confirmed the breakout, of course, it still remains a possibility we could end up seeing a rejection. And in that case, we still have this ascending line of support, once again, at approximately 36 to 36.1k. And if you want to know where you can take these trading opportunities, either these breakouts to the upside to maximize your profits, or even trade the price to the downside, if we break to the downside, personally, I trade over on Bybit, and I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And in fact, if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account, simply deposit on that account and you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus only if you use that link down below this video. But unfortunately, there's some countries around the world where you may not be able to access Bybit in due to regulations. And so if that's the case, there is also Bitflex as an alternative crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And I'll make sure to leave a link to Bitflex in the description down below and in the pinned comment as well. And in fact, if you use that link to make a Bitflex account, simply deposit $100 worth of crypto or more and make one trade over on Bitflex, and that can get you a 10 USDT bonus, which you can actually withdraw. And so that's essentially a free 10% return on a $100 deposit. And so if you're going to trade crypto anyway, you might as well check out those links down below this video for extra bonuses. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the weekly time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still running into this significant area of resistance, sitting in between around $2,000 to $2,150. And so over the last one day, not much has changed here on the weekly time frame for the price of ETH. And so if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last video here on the channel. And so getting straight into the daily time frame, and what we can see is obviously a recent rejection from this important area of resistance, sitting in between around 2120 to 2150. And so 2150 is definitely still the level to break for the price of ETH in order to flip much more bullish again. But at least for now, while we're still below that area of resistance, in the short term, we're looking relatively neutral, and once again, only flip much more bullish again once we confirm a breakout above 2150. And as for the daily Ethereum price oscillators, obviously over the last couple of weeks, these have reset, which have actually given the price of ETH some more room to the upside. Because obviously right now the price of ETH is basically exactly where it was a couple of weeks ago, but a couple of weeks ago when the price was at this same price, the RSI was very overbought. Whereas right now we're at the exact same price only a couple of weeks later, and the RSI has reset out of overbought territories, which means we now have some room to the upside. And so this is why we ideally need to see some pullbacks along the way during a bullish trend, because it creates more of a sustainable trend and more room to the upside later on. And if you're taking a look at the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, obviously roughly around 1 week ago now, I talked about this confirmed hidden bullish divergence all the way back down here. And once again, as I said back then, we're likely going to see a bit more of a bullish relief, at least in the short term. And so far, this is still currently playing out as expected. But if you're zooming into the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart, obviously what we've seen over the last one day is basically a perfect rejection from this exact first price target, sitting at around 2130. And in case you missed my last few videos here on the channel, well. Basically, this initial price target at 21.30 came into play from the moment we confirmed a breakout above around 20.30 to 20.40, and this first price target at around 21.30 is based on this previous high, basically the top of this descending broadening wedge pattern. And so personally, in my breakout long position that I entered right around here, I said I have an initial price target set at around 21.30, which is where I do have an initial take profit for this specific trade. And so obviously, considering the price did indeed hit 21.30, I have taken a small amount of profits out of that long position. And as I mentioned in my last video here on the channel, I have moved my stop loss just above my entry price, so that in the worst case scenario, if we crash right now, I exit the trade in profits. And once again, I have already taken some profits off the table. But if we continue to pump further to the upside, I still have some of that position continue to remain open in case we head up to the next price target, which is sitting at around 22.60. And so obviously, congrats to those of you who entered this trade right around here, which I did mention on the channel was a pretty good opportunity to enter a long position. And now just quickly taking a look at the 4-hour Solana to US dollar chart, and what we could see right now is first of all an initial breakout here in the RSI. And as usual, the RSI can often act as a leading indicator for the price, and we did indeed see the breakout in the RSI just before a breakout here in the price. And this descending line of resistance in the price is currently sitting at around $55 to $56, and so this breakout to the upside would be invalidated if we see a confirmed break back below around $55. And we have to be a little bit careful, because in that scenario, if we actually break back below $55, it's possible we could potentially form a new head and shoulders pattern. We have a left shoulder right here, a potential head right here, and a potential right shoulder, but only if we dump basically right now or over the next 1 day or so. Because obviously, at least for now, that potential head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hour chart is obviously not yet confirmed. It is not yet even completed the formation stage. And so at least for now, in the short term, we are currently looking more bullish than bearish, because we have just broken out above resistance. And if you want a technical price target for this breakout based on this potential descending triangle pattern, which was a pattern that was forming that is now broken out to the upside, that sets up a price target at around $72 approximately. And so from where we are right now to that price target, that is approximately around a 22% gain to the upside with no leverage. And so obviously, with a 10x leverage trade, that is over 200% profits. So basically tripling your money if you take a 10x leverage trade, for example, and if of course we complete this pattern by hitting the price target. And now of course, it is important to understand that there will also be other levels of resistance, like for example, mostly based on these previous highs, we do have some resistance at around $61 to $62, and we also have some more resistance at around $66 to $67 right here. And so obviously, it is possible the price of Solana could reject from one of those levels of resistance, which we need to be aware of. And once again, this breakout to the upside and this bullish price target invalidate if we see a confirmed break back below around $55. And once again, if you want to take these trading opportunities, then personally I trade over on Bybit and Bitflex, links down below this video if you want those extra bonuses. And if you want to know how you can profit from crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways, you can profit in either of those scenarios by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.